All right, heading to the sentencing of General Michael Flynn. Sure to be an historic moment. We've been hearing a lot about this in the news, of course. And I want to thank everybody for joining me this morning. Wait a minute now, I've gotten somehow derailed here. Where's Constitution? Is it over there? Somehow I'm on 2nd Street. I was looking at my stabilizer and my whole broadcasting situation here, and I got off track with the GPS. Let's take a look. Okay, so this morning, of course, everyone is interested to hear what Judge Emmet Sullivan is going to say about Robert Mueller having withheld exculpatory evidence, something we hear a lot about. If people watch the Counter Lawfare report with Brian Vukadinovich, you're going to know that, looks like I'm going the wrong way. You're going to know that even though it is incumbent on a prosecutor to provide exculpatory evidence, that is evidence that would exonerate a defendant, frequently that's not done. And it seems like these 302 reports, these FBI interview reports, which are in 2018 handwritten reports created by FBI agents like Peter Strzok, FBI agents like Andrew McCabe, people who have been called out for bias, for lying, for lack of candor, handwritten reports. I had advised Charles to take a recorder with him when he was interviewed by the FBI. It was one day after a Massachusetts federal judge found it unconstitutional to disallow the recording of federal employees, even in secret. I felt this would have been a good safety measure for Charles to employ because I remain confident that Robert Mueller's investigation is determined to somehow try and do to Charles what they've done to General Flynn, what they've done to Dr. Corsi, and what they basically do to everybody, which is strong-arm people with threats, scare tactics, and thug-like pressure to get them to make these plea deals. It's super important for people to understand that Michael Cohen pleading guilty to election finance, campaign finance, whatever, that doesn't mean he actually did that. A plea deal is where the prosecutors get a defendant to plead guilty to some lesser crime, some crime they haven't committed, any old crime at all. We've heard Cody Snodgrass say that when he was incarcerated, after he refused to be involved in the bombing of the Mueller Federal Building in Oklahoma City, that they allowed him to choose the crime he was going to plead guilty to. So I found it very troubling that Eleanor Holmes Norton the other day in the Mark Meadows hearing investigating the Clinton Foundation, Ms. Norton was adamant in announcing that Mr. Trump's lawyer had admitted to doing these crimes. They're trying to create this feeling that somebody's done something wrong. And it's the same thing that's happening here with, am I going to the wrong Constitution Avenue? This doesn't feel like where the courthouse is. Luckily, I still have 20 minutes, but Washington, D.C. confuses me because we've got northwest, northeast. I think I'm in the wrong spot. Let me make sure I'm going to the right Constitution Avenue. That's so stupid. So here's the problem when you're walking around live streaming. There's a lot of stuff to pay attention to. Let's make sure we've got that right. Constitution Avenue. Yeah, I'm in the wrong spot. Not good. Okay, so let's keep going. Still make it on time, I believe. Gotta turn around and go this way. Okay. So, still learning DC, northeast, northwest. Google Maps just puts in whatever's there. All right, I had planned to be there a bit early, but plans change. Anyway, yes, Eleanor Holmes Norton, Yale law professor, Hillary Clinton associate, trying to convince us, just like George Stephanopoulos, also a Clinton associate, interviewed Michael Cohen. I didn't really feel that Michael Cohen was being honest in that interview. It felt like he was acting. And I have observed quite a lot of acting, quite a lot of bad acting in my career. And that's my observation. Now, it's interesting to note as well, this matter with General Flynn has been going on for 2 years. He, if we recall, was the first major member of Donald Trump's cabinet to be, brought under scrutiny and dismissed. I felt like that was a major blow to the Donald Trump presidency. General Flynn seemed to be a strong ally with a lot of practical experience, a lot of knowledge of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama creating ISIS deliberately. He said that. Michael Flynn said that, let's not forget. But of course, his conversation with the Russian ambassador came under scrutiny. And for 2 years, we've heard that Robert Mueller was investigating Russian collusion. The possibility that the Trump campaign and members of it had colluded with people in the Russian government to somehow affect our election. It's important to remember that there's been no evidence of that whatsoever. We've seen no evidence of collusion. The CEO of Google said that somebody bought $4,700 worth of Facebook ads. That doesn't seem too effective for the Russian government. I would hope they'd have a better budget for interfering with the election. I mean, $5,000, what's that going to do? And how are Facebook ads illegal? It seems like anybody should be able to buy those ads. If they don't like Hillary Clinton, buy an ad and say, I'm Vladimir Putin, I approve this ad. So it's interesting to see how quickly we've pivoted from Russian collusion to porn star collusion. The big deal now, of course, is Michael Cohen. Last week we heard Robert Mueller recommend against any jail time for General Flynn, which I agree with, of course, but I'm hopeful today that Emmet Sullivan will completely throw this case out. And there's good legal basis for that. Sidney Powell wrote an article in the Daily Caller the other day talking about Mueller's manipulation of these 302s. There were redacted 302s sent to Emmet Sullivan, and both Sidney Powell and Larry Klayman had anticipated that there would be an in-camera review, a private review of those redacted documents by Judge Sullivan. I believe I see the courthouse right over there. So I should be there in just a few minutes. Hopefully I will catch the arrival of General Flynn. 11 a.m. I was surprised it started this late. I would have, had I known that sooner, I would have just taken an early train this morning. Of course, I arrived last night. Sorry I don't have enough hands to be looking at comments while I make my way over there. See, it looks like it's about 10:41, so I think I should make it. Sorry, people are going to be annoyed about this microphone. Let me hold it this way. So today is historic, of course. If this does get thrown out for FBI misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct, whatever, then what it means is the FBI will have trashed Michael Flynn, destroyed his life, damaged the American public by denying us access to an honest and effective national security advisor. Robert Mueller, by that measure, has threatened our national security. I hope Robert Mueller will be brought up on criminal charges because, in my estimation, his actions are criminal. He's made a regular practice of intimidating witnesses. Dr. Corsi has spoken about this. I believe you can purchase his book, Silent No More. I think you go to Corsi Nation and I'll have that over there. I have to applaud Dr. Corsi for standing up to Robert Mueller and helping everybody understand how this works. It's amazing to me that anybody would not be on Dr. Corsi's side, even if you disagree with everything Dr. Corsi has ever done up until now. Unless you want the FBI to be able to threaten and intimidate people at will, I think it's important that we support the doctor. And it's also important that we take note of the people who have made overt efforts to bash Dr. Corsi. Who are they working for? Who are they trying to help? Is it Robert Mueller and the corrupt FBI? Well, I should be there in just a moment. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to bring cameras or live streaming devices into the courthouse. That's a very confusing matter for me. I would think this type of public proceeding would be the type of thing that you could record. Hopefully we can get that changed sometime in the future, but as of right now, no dice. I'm trying to keep the scratching of the microphone to a minimum, but I'm also trying to walk quickly to the courthouse. It should be quite crowded today. Has Flynn arrived yet? Flynn arrived yet? That guy's not listening. It's a beautiful day here in Washington, D.C. Almost 11 a.m. And I see the courthouse there. 10:44. Still pretty early. I hope I didn't miss General Flynn's arrival. We're going to have a lot of commentary on this after the hearing. I'm hoping to meet a couple of different important people over there who are going to be here supporting the general. I've spoken to a couple of the personalities that people who watch Crowdsource the Truth have come to recognize. People who weigh in on these type of legal matters, even some personal friends of the general, perhaps family members. We'll see who's there. This guy's eating soup. Thanks. Enjoy the soup. Guy has to honk. Just run me over. All right, there's the courthouse. Let's see if I've made it on time. What a massive screw up this will be if I haven't. Wish I could see comments, but can't do everything all at once. Keep missing the lights. Here's the U.S. Capitol Police. Hey, incidentally, there's a really inaccurate video blog that seems to think I got into some kind of fight with the U.S. Capitol Police. That's totally untrue. All I did was drive Laurel Everly to the U.S. Capitol Police with her evidence, which I never touched. We brought it inside. U.S. Capitol Police asked me who I was and what my relationship was to Laurel. I just told them I'm a reporter, and they asked me to wait outside, and I did. There was no argument. I played no role in any action the U.S. Capitol Police took with that evidence. We're talking about evidence in the matter of Imran Awan, but I think it's important for people to question those that raise false evidence and give false testimony. Why would they do that? All right, there's the courthouse, 333 Constitution Avenue. Worth mentioning again for some of our new subscribers, 333, why are so many courthouse buildings located at 333 whatever street they're at? It's weird. All right, I do believe this is it right here. I hope this is it. I think that round thing is part of the courthouse building, if I'm not mistaken. The annex or something. Let's see what we got. I would expect General Flynn to walk right in the front door, unlike the extremely slippery Imran Awan, who we never knew where that guy was going to arrive. All right, looks like maybe the general hasn't arrived yet, so I'm here right on time. Let's see what happens. Not as many people as I expected. General Flynn arrived yet? Has the general arrived yet? Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you. Robert Mueller or General Flynn arrived
Flynn.
yet?
Flynn's already in there.
He is?
Yeah, Flynn's inside.
Damn. So what's everybody waiting for?
Flynn to leave.
Very good.